where we were, even at the end of spring. There are some young receivers that we're going to have to see if they can play. Tavon Smith is a guy that has jumped out. Reese Fleming, those two guys have jumped out. Jacob Hilliard has come back. He's caught our attention. Obviously, Keenan and Cavante. Don Shump had a great off-season, great job in the summer. So those, Keenan, Cavante, Don, those three guys have really done a good job. And we're just going to, we'll see. You probably need 6 or 7 receivers, in the course of a ball game.
What are the specific challenges of having such a young running back core?
The biggest thing is always blitz protection. You can play a young running back. They've got natural skills. You recruit some of the things, so you can play younger running backs. The blitz pickup is where you get concerned, because you got your quarterback vulnerable back there. But it's our job to make sure that we have those guys ready.
Is it tough teaching a high school kid, a guy who played high school ball last year, to block?
It's just the amount of different blitzes they see and the amount of different. It's not tough, to teach them, the actual how to do it. It's just those guys are not always where they are, when you're walking through. They're running around and hitting different gaps and crossing, and that's the multiplicity of what the defense does is the tough part for the backs.
Nobody knows anything about Jake Rudick right now. And if all things go as planned, Ruddock, sorry.
No problem.
If all things go as planned, no one will. But what about him so far? Because he could be potentially a pretty important player for you.
Sure. Anytime your quarterback is, he's an ankle away. Right now, Jake and Cody are both working, with the second group. We're kind of splitting their reps. At some point, as we start scrimmaging and camp goes on, we'll start making some decisions about who is going to be the number 2 guy. But they are critical.
Is the plan still to redshirt Sokol, or right now it sounds like that's open?
The plan is, let us see what happens as we go through camp.
Okay.
If it were a perfect scenario, you'd like to redshirt Cody because Jake already redshirted, so and then they both can come in at spring training and battle from there. But if it worked out, a perfect world, that would what we'd like to do.
You talked up TJ Fedorowicz pretty well in the spring. Has he kind of assumed that? Is he stepping toward?
Yeah, CJ's got a chance to be an outstanding player. He's a year older. Very pleased in the spring with not only the way he ran and caught the ball, but his ability to block and set the edge for us. So, I think we have high expectations for him, and I know he has high expectations for himself.
Last year, the offense ran out of 3 wide receivers, maybe 40 to 45% of the time. Do you anticipate that going up a little bit, or is it just depend on?
Yeah, it's going to depend. What we're going to try to do is get our best personnel grouping on the field, and we can do almost everything from various personnel groupings. Whether that grouping is 2 backs, 3 wide receivers, whether or not it's 2 tight ends, we'll just have to see. But the 11, in our terms, the 11 personnel, the 3 wide receivers, that will be a big part of what we do.
Do you anticipate having, if a tight end, say, is better than your 3rd wide receiver, a 2nd tight end?
Yeah, we'll play with 12 personnel. We'll play with 12 personnel, and we've got some tight ends right now. Zach Derby is one, a doozy, and Henry is a guy that we're also working outside in wide receiver spots, or lining up as tight ends and going in motion and ending up in wide receiver spots. So we got several different tight ends that we're working also in wide receiver spots during some of the packages that we have.